Welcome to Lunch and Learn. I am Cedar and waiting on Thor. We do a charting session for 30 minutes, as many Tuesdays at lunch as we possibly can, and looking like the stars are aligning today. So I have a couple of things that Moonshot posted inside the Lunch and Learn thread, just kind of gathering ticker requests and just some thoughts that he's seen or questions he's seen being asked. So I'll open that up and we'll start with those. But if you guys have any charts you'd like us to look at on a higher time frame, dig into them a little bit more, they're first come first serve. So if you run into that thread and it is tagged inside Market Talk as well and in the announcements channel, it's a lot easier for us to find them rather than scanning back through while we're recording.
Peter, you there?
I am. How are you, Thor?
Good, good. Sorry, I got a lot of stuff going on, and I had an alarm set to make sure I made the lunch and learn, and that was 20 minutes ago, and I got into something, forgot about it again.
I have to set mine for 3 minutes before, so I totally get that. 30 minutes, I would already be off on some other, doing something else.
Yeah,
Awesome.
well, I think I'm gonna have to, maybe I set 2 alarms. I don't know.
The heads up
Let me
and
see
the
if I
heads
get
up.
my head close to work.
Yep, totally. Alarms for my alarms. That's how I operate. Well, Moonshot gathered a couple of tickers he's seen requested for us to review or for an analyst to review inside Market Talk through the morning. And so, first one, and I actually just saw this in Market Talk, is Riot.
Can you still hear me?
I cannot hear you.
Hold on.
Or I can hear you. I don't think you can hear me. Something like that. I don't know.
Oh, no, I can hear you. I
Okay.
just plugged my headphones in. I wanna
Okay,
make
you're
sure you can
you're
hear me.
fine. So
Right.
I'll let you start with Riot. I posted a Riot chart, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and not a lot has changed other than the fact that we've moved into the structure that I already put in there. So I'd love to see your thoughts on it.
Hmm. I'm still surprised that this thing went down like it did with most everything else going up like it did. It's really surprising to me, but I saw today, it looks like it did its annual reject, at least so far today. Um, it looks like it has support around 1050 or so. What did it bounce off today? Oh, it bounced off 1049. So that makes sense. I still don't like it because it just doesn't, I still don't know why it reacted like it did.
Yeah, it
And
doesn't
it's
doesn't
making
make a lot
lower
of
lows.
sense with crypto doing what it's doing for sure.
I mean, I need to clarify. I said lower lows. I mean, lower highs. If you go back to July 2023 and then to end of December of 2023, and then again, it did actually get higher after the 215 up, but then it just lost it. I don't like it at all, but I mean, if I were to buy it, I'd probably buy it on a bounce around 1050 and then set a stop under $10. You know, if you think for some reason it's going to turn around, it could. If it's going to, it's going to be around 1050 or so. If not, it looks like it could keep going down. It's not one I'd want to play.
We're in the a symmetrical triangle, so we're at the bottom edge of the upward trend line in that symmetrical triangle. We're actually sitting right on our volume point of control from all trades taken from Q4 of 2021. So lots of volume put in down here if we lose this level, and this level for me, literally right where we are, $11 on the daily, has a technically a break to the downside, and then pretty easy move into the low volume area of like 788. And that was really just reinforces, I believe I'd posted 10.96 was the downside target when we talked about it 2 weeks ago when it was sitting up somewhere near $14. So it looks like that definitely came into play, but nothing has really changed from my analysis in that initial chart. There is a little area of interest if we do get a bounce here, 1374 for an upside and 1519. The top end of that triangle takes us up to 1699. I just don't see, especially with what crypto is doing right now, the fact that we didn't move up on Riot, which is a crypto ticker. If crypto starts to sell off, I can't imagine why Riot wouldn't just go along for the ride down and break this trend line.
Yeah, I did actually switch over to a weekly and move the trend line up. And it looks like it's trying to break it right now, but it's staying above it. It dipped under and then came back above.
Yep.
It's sitting right now.
And it's literally
So-
right on the most volume that we've traded in like 2.5 years.
Right. But I'm not a player on it. Sure.
Yeah. Okay, next one, AFRM. This is a COVID meme kind of name, so I'm not super excited about it. I know you really like it. I'm going to start with it because you've talked about it quite a bit. Just looking at it from a volume perspective, losing the 3640, I'm not super happy here. I'm sitting on the weekly. I would see downside potential to $30.15 as far as weekly chart goes. Let me look at monthly really quick. Yeah, rejected the $50 level pretty seriously. I had, last time I charted this, I'd drawn a line at 49.84 from the high end. It was a high volume area that moved into low. We put some volume in up there and then sold off. So there's nothing for me here on this. I'll take one more look at the daily and see if there's anything that catches my attention, but I don't believe so. Daily 200 moving average is 27.27, which is a nice psychological number. If we don't bounce there, then it's down to 24.23.
Yeah, for me, I'm looking at the same thing. I was still on a weekly chart. And I didn't even look over at a daily week that tells me everything. You know, you had the number there, 50. I have a number above 4650, and it tried and failed, and that's a real strong number. My chart, what I'm actually looking at here, and why I think it's strong. I hate when charts do this because it really looked like if it was going to stay above 4650, it was really going to do something. So to see it fail like this is concerning.
It's weak, especially if you look at the weekly candle from August 15th, 2022, that wick high under 4080. When we lost that, it goes off my charts. It's not on my screens anymore at all.
Yeah, I'd be really, to be honest with you, if I saw this coming back up to that spot I was just talking about, the spot that I'm showing on the chart I just posted, I would be really cautious to even get into it because of what it did when it got there the last time. Volume actually came in, it pushed it above that point and then failed. You know, that
Yeah.
would really throw me off to the next time that I'd look at doing it.
Yeah, the one bonus, I guess, is we are on decreasing volume. at least as far as how we're setting up this week. And it is only Tuesday. It's early in the week. It's FOMC week. So, yeah. On to the next. McDonald's.
Moonshot, why are you asking us about?
No,
Baby?
well, there's been a lot of talk about it, but I think, it might be fun. I haven't looked at a McDonald's chart in a while, so I'll let you start with it.
I never have. Honestly, this is the first time I've ever looked at it. Before years past, it was a slow mover.
Yeah.
And honestly, I bet I haven't looked at this in really probably 20 years, really, I swear. Only because back then it was really a slow mover. I guess
Yeah.
it's kind of not done that anymore.
I own it in my long-term portfolio, but that's Moonshot trades this towards the end of the week each week, so fun to kind of look at it on a higher time frame.
Well, it's one of those stocks that's always on an uptrend. I mean, I'm looking at it. Let me go back to it weekly again. Only failed back then, COVID, when everything took a hit. But other than that, it's just been on a steady, steady climb up forever and a day. Saying that, I mean, I don't know if I trade this. I know Moonshot does. I'd probably be interested in doing something long-term on it. And if I did, it would probably be right here at about 280, where it's at right now. Well, 280, I'd probably buy into it and just watch it keep climbing if I was looking for a long-term investment, because this isn't one I'd well, let me look at a daily. Yeah, it's just not a stock that fits my eye to trade it. It is a stock that, looking at the overall long term, I buy it right here around 280 and just sit on it. But other than that, it's not a chart that I'm interested in, and only because for me, I just don't. It doesn't intrigue me at all.
I just posted my weekly chart. We are in a nearer term downtrend. Let's make sure I've got my cursor set up right. Our volume point of control is sitting at 289.73. We do have a high volume node that we put in 278.81 and are currently bouncing off of, with overhead resistance at 284.39. There is some low volume area below us, 271. Let's see if I can. 271.29. So I put those in whenever I'm charting. I do monthly on the purple, weekly blue, and daily and lower time frames white. If it is a dashed line, that is a low volume area on the volume profile. So that usually means there's a chance we're going to go back in there and fill out that. It's basically like you haven't vacuumed your carpet in a long time. It's been a week since you vacuumed and you got a couple of dogs, couple of kids. Carpet's a little dirty, you have to spend a little extra time cleaning it up. This is a area of the profile that needs repair. So basically between 276 and 266, $10 range. We should go back in there and hang out for a while to put some volume in. So I'll be curious to watch what that does in that 271 range. So I'm going to update that chart because I did not have that low volume area in there, but it's not a ticker I like to trade, but neat to look at, especially since Moonshot trades it super well.
Yeah, it's his thing. So
all right, let's see if there's
who knows, but for me, no.
Let's see.
There's some other ones that are putting up some tickers here.
We've got Mara.
So, well, that's his. Let's go to Robo. And
Okay.
It's a suggestion because he's an analyst here.
So is this exchange traded concept trusts?
Which one? BRT?
No, I thought you said Robo. Oh, that's not the ticker.
No,
Robo's the name of the member. That's awesome. Yeah, I was like, I've never seen this ticker before. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's from Robo. So
Gotcha.
BRT.
Whoa, look at that. Well, that's, well, it's a beautiful chart,
A
but
long time ago.
a long time ago, like back at $40 in September of 23. Woo. Okay, well,
Yeah, I
we-
don't touch these. But
we've got some volume, a little bit of volume just below us at 73.40, but I just can't, it's chasing up here. If you were trying to decide where to exit, and that would be, I guess, one of my guesses if somebody was wondering if they were in a position, what our thoughts are as far as that goes. Let me adjust that actually. So we've got 73.74, a little more volume at 71.84. So if we see pullbacks, I'm on a weekly chart. I would be looking for a dip buy at 66.54 if I were going to look for an entry on the weekly, but it really probably has room down to 62. I'm landing on 62.01. This is one of those that you just set up. I'm going to go to daily just for fun. A trailing stop on the daily so that the 10 and the 50 are moving parallel to each other on this run up. We definitely have a little bit of a concerning daily candle from yesterday. Wow, that was only yesterday. Good times. So a daily close under the 10 moving average, which is right at that 71.99 with confirmation on the following day, would be a stop out on a long for me if I did happen to be long on this. And if you went short from here or from yesterday's close, then your target 62.01 on the downside, which is just above the 50 moving average, which is 61.39.
For me, I don't chase stocks. I'd want to buy this on some sort of pullback. The pullback for me would be right at 63.50.
Say the number again. Sorry, I missed it.
63.50.
63.50. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I would play it. I'm not looking at anything other than if I wanted in, and it looks like it probably could pull back a little bit, continue up. 63.50 would be my number.
All right, next one is ELF, ELF. Your turn.
Oh yeah, this is that beauty supply company that came out of nowhere. End of the day rocket. Look at that.
Yeah.
In May of 2022, it was $22. Yeah, here's another one that you'd be chasing. If I was, I see two numbers here. Maybe three numbers here. Give me 1 second. I'm looking at it. Yeah, if I were to buy this, I'd probably want to buy it around 175. Between 170 and 175 would be my spot to get in. But I wouldn't buy it right now.
From the weekly, I dropped in a 172.29. And the volume starts to pick up at 175.07 if it gets underneath 182.50. So I like that 175 range. That's also 50 moving average on the daily is 177.39. We are below the 10 daily moving average. So if you're using a turtle trader, just swing trading kind of concept, you short under the 10 to the 50, and from the 50 to the 10 back up long on daily closes. If you're not familiar with that, there is an audiobook inside our Bull Trades University books channel, and also a PDF.
Nice segue. But we pretty much had the same number there. As well.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah, but it's a similar kind of, this has played out a little bit more than the last one, but similar kind of like already run. Let's see what it shakes out as.
The next one is ARM. Oh, this one, you know what? I haven't looked at this one either. I know everybody's been playing it for, I don't know, for the last few weeks, but red tape. Cedar.
Oh, yep, I can hear you.
I was waiting. I think wasn't this one yours?
Didn't I start with the last one? I don't know. Can't keep track.
I can do this one.
That's-
It's the same thing, though. I don't know if I would.
Oh, yeah.
I hate. It's kind of hard to play this one because it really just cranked. What it almost did it double? More than double, didn't it?
Yeah.
Went to 164 from 77 in just a couple of days. Yeah, this is one I'd want to see cool off a bit and see where it ends up. I wouldn't even want to make a prediction where to play it, because at any time, you can have the big boys come in and take profits, or the big boys come in and buy on dips. If it's a dip buy, the dip buy is at 115.
There is almost no volume. So looking on the weekly, between 94 and 80, basically, there's almost no volume. So as we ran through that week, which we as a community caught beautifully, but I would not be surprised for us to go back and at least test halfway through that candle range. Just from an eyeball perspective, about $95, and there's no structure underneath there. So I don't see any reason why it would actually hold there, but a half backfill into the 95 range would not be unreasonable. 77.32 is the structure underneath. There are some, well, we could actually even call that 78.77 if we just went straight on weekly candle bodies and wicks, not just using volume. 78.77 would be my bounce range.
All right, next one is MACD. We already did that one, and then we moved to CRWD. Take the options.
All right.
This one looks similar to the other one, except it didn't have that huge run up. Just the last.
Pretty massive consolidation here. Sideways grind. Overhead resistance for me at 30 or 323.12. And if we continue in the range that we're headed, which is a downtrend, 298.54 would be a downside target on it. I have a previous line here, 295.39, so I'll call that a range, 295.39 to 298. I haven't charted this, it looks like, in about a month, maybe longer. Okay, yeah. So looking at it on a daily, we actually had some front running of the 50 moving average. The 50 and the 10 are moving in parallel to each other. We do have low volume area right below us, 308.61. So I'm going to put that as a horizontal, or as a, not horizontal, wow, a dash line. So I can quickly identify that in different time frames. That also corresponds with some wick high interaction from January 24, week of January 24, 2024. So would not be super surprised to see us come down there and dance around just above the 300 level, clean up that low volume area. If we do have a more significant breakdown, let's see, earnings. Oh, we had massive earnings gap up, and that's what we're giving back right now. Pretty significant on earnings. Wow. Just looks like consolidation and chop to me. I guess I'd be looking to potentially buy longer dated calls if we can get down and play around that 300 level, put some volume in there, and then bounce somewhere around 302 or 304 range. I would be looking for longer dated call options.
For me, you pretty much, I agree with almost, well, everything you said. I would be a buyer on this on a bounce of right around 290. It's also breaking a trend line. It's a weak trend line, but the trend line starts in October of 2023 on a weekly, and it's starting to break now. I'd watch how the rest of the week finishes out. See if it stays under that trend line.
All right, got that chart put in, so let's see if there's anything else. Looks like Rivian. Looks like ES just wicked above the previous volume point of control. Good times right here. Oh, poor Rivian. Oh.
I think I had this trend line break, but I don't see that break now. Maybe I thought it was going to. I have looked at this one. That's why I'm trying to remember what I was thinking. Yeah, I've got a trend line. It's got to get above. It's got to get above 12 to break the trend line. It did make a kind of since it made that low down around 1007, it came down and made a higher low, and then it came down and touched the same higher low again, and it's trying to hang in there now. I mean, it needs to get above 1140 and then get above 12 to have any chance to make a run up.
Our volume point of control on it is 1555. So just as a mean reversion trade, there's a potential of a bounce into that range just from shorts covering. Tiny bit of volume below us at $11 flat. Let's make sure that's right. Yep. Changing that to a solid line because it is high volume, not low volume. I use this phrase some in free chat, especially when people are pumping low float penny stocks. I would not touch this with somebody else's 10-foot pole is my official statement on Rivian.
All right, we can do GS. I got time for one more, so we can do GS, which is EK Options wants that one as well. Golden. Oh, I had it. I only had it out like 1 month on what I've seen is only 1 month. And oh my god, I hate this. As soon as you go out, you can see it's been consolidated for 3 months. What's it gonna do?
Yeah, okay. So we have a week high on the weekly, just below 400. So double tops for me to be a solid shortable double top. The second one actually has to be higher than the first one. If it's not, it tells us something. There's some front running of some profit taking, which is definitely what we're seeing here. So areas below us, and we should go repair that. We should pop above it before we actually see a decent sell-off. 382.41 is a pretty big area of interest for me on Goldman Sachs, down to 379.65. And that is presuming we can
Yeah.
lose 386.75 on the weekly. I'll look at the daily. I'm not super prone to spend too much time on this chart, but that's my general. If we hold the 386.75 on the weekly, we're probably going to have a blow off top before we actually see it sell down mean reversion back to the 320 level.
Yeah, the first thing I see here is, like I said, I looked at the daily and it just looks like it's consolidating. I went farther out and I can see it was, but then I switched to a weekly to kind of get an idea of what I think it might do. And you can see it's had wick rejections all the way for as far as a higher high. It's rejected it mostly at highs than it did at lowers. Like pretty much for the last 2 months. So it leads me to think that it's weak, or people are looking to want to get out of it. So I'm definitely not a player on it. I'm not sure if I'd short it either. I think I'd just watch it because it just doesn't really, not really tipping its hand, other than the fact that it's got those wick rejections on higher run-ups. And for me, that's pretty much like a hands-off stock for now.
Yeah, this is a no touch stock for me. Even if it wasn't a financially related stock on a election year where we're hoping to see interest rates lower. So I put that into context. I still don't like the chart at all, and probably won't look at it again for another year unless somebody requests it.
That's nothing I like either. And with that, that's the end of it. We did our lunch and learn today. Cedar, like always, it's great to share the chat with you.
Yeah,
And
good to catch up with you.
Yep, absolutely. And we'll see you as we chat daily.
It sounds good.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
And thanks for the chart posts. It definitely, we're doing this for you guys just to kind of get inside our head and hear us walk through mentally in slow motion of what we're looking at. When we look at a chart quickly and say, no, I wouldn't touch that, it gives a little bit more of the narration of it. So hoping it helps. If you guys like it, let us know, and definitely give us some more tickers as we go through the weeks. It definitely, I think, helps just give a bigger picture.
Exactly. You know, it's fun. I mean, we're not always right, and Cedar and I don't. We pretty much agree on most everything we look at. Our levels might be just a little bit different. But I would say 98% of the time, Cedar and I pretty much see the same thing. So, but that doesn't mean just because we're both picking the same thing that we're right. So, I mean, if you see something and you hear something we said that may tip you, even though it's not something we like, and tips you into thinking, well, you know what, I still want to try it.
Right.
You might still be right.
Still trust your TA.
Right.
That's what's important, is if you're trading it more than we are, getting to know the personality of an individual ticker has a huge amount of value. And a lot of these are tickers that I don't trade. I'm not familiar with their individual personalities, just looking at them from pure chart technicals.
Yeah, most of these, when you post them, we look at them right then. I don't go through here and look and see.
Yeah, whether they're posted 2 days before
Yeah.
or 2 minutes before, you're seeing it live, what we see on our charts.
I bring it up and I tell you what I think right then and there, unless it's one that I already know, like Tesla. You asked me about that. I look at it 15 times a day.
Mhm.
But most of them I look at right then and there and give you what I think, exactly what I'm thinking as I'm looking at. And I think Cedar does the same thing.
Exactly the same thing. Yep. And it's just that insight into how we do a quick analysis. So we're not having to take hours and hours. So typically, if we were doing this, it would not have taken us a half an hour to go through this handful of tickers. It would have been about, for me, it would have been about 90 seconds. I'm guessing you maybe even 60. Just bam, bam, bam through and make the
Yep.
decisions on, you know, which ones to never look at again, to maybe set some alerts on and go from there.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you're forcing me to say something about a chart that I wouldn't even look at.
Exactly. Exactly. It's
I
and
look at it.
it's hard because it seems like it's useless, like, but that's the point, is to teach people how to see when a chart is not good to hang out on, instead of just saying, oh, I don't like this chart, but to actually dig into it a little bit more and say, here's why I wouldn't be trading this right now, or here's what, you know, what I'd be looking for if I were interested in this for long-term investment, or for, you know, longer dated, or commons positions, equity commons positions, just a stock position, that kind of thing.
Right, exactly. So if I sound vague when I'm talking about a chart, usually me being vague means I don't like it.
Yeah. For sure. All right. We'll catch you next
Okay.
week, Thor.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Cedar.